Yeah.
Does that make any sense or no?
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah. It makes direct sense to me as a father. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Does that make sense to you?
No, dude, totally makes sense. It needs to make sense too.
Does that make sense?
Does that make sense? Waiting for it to make sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it does. Does that make any sense thinking like that?
Absolutely. Well,
Does that make any sense?
Well, normally you
Does it
would
make sense or not?
Yeah, it does, because you would have to say maybe you have a personal deep down sense that up, Theo.
Does it make any sense what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
And in fact,
medicine. Does that make any sense or not?
oh, I think I see where you're going with that, Theo.
And we've never been able to see it before, but I think we're starting to be able to see it a little bit. Does that make any sense?
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it doesn't make any sense.
Universe, right?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But you don't. Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make sense.
That does not make any sense. If anybody can explain that.
That makes sense?
It would be insane to
Yes.
do that.
It doesn't even make sense.
No.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, does that make sense?
Does that make sense or it doesn't?
No, it makes total sense, because what happens is
Does that make any sense?
it makes sense, right?
Does that make sense?
It makes total sense.
Little sense is enough. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense, man? Jules, does that make sense?
Well,
Does that make sense at all?
it's interesting how you say all these really insightful things, then you keep asking me if it makes sense or not.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not criticizing- I'm just noticing something.
Yeah. I
Okay.
don't feel like y'all appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense or no?
No,
Lame. Does that make any sense?
It does.
I won't. I don't know. Does that make sense?
you-
That might make sense, actually.
And if you're
Maybe that's
yeah.
the storyline. Okay, boom. That makes sense.